Good evening, everybody. It's Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading, on December 30th, 2024. And yes, I've been kind of absent all day today because I woke up to a very disturbing event. But before I get into what's been going on in my day, please hit the thumbs up. That helps the channel grow, get the message out there. Also, we have a couple of perps in the comments section of, let's see, the cloaking video. The video from, let's see, it was a couple of days ago. It was on December 15. Live chat, poopy nurse, theft of cat. You know, there's a tree there. Well, lo and behold, on the same day, we get two perps leaving comments. And I'll just tell you their names because now they're banned. One is called Jessica Harrelson 7400. And she responded to a subscriber. And her comment is, "That's a threat, and she could have you charged." Really? Wrong. Deleted your comment. I do have it in my email. And you're banned now, so don't come back. Not even under another name. The next perp is, now this sounds like somebody that could be local, right? MakaylaCheyenneRoger. Calling me crazy. That I have all kinds of fake accounts. Blah, 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 blah. Makayla, you're gone. Don't come back. At 6:40 p.m. tonight, a copter flew directly over my house. And I'll get to the good news. The not so good news. It's actually the bad news. Well, I noticed last night my cat Popcorn didn't come back into the house. And most of the time he does. But usually if I go out a second time, I'll find he'll be around. Did not come in. Did not see him at all day today. I thought I saw him on the porch eating dry cat food this morning, and I called over to him, and this cat just looked up, and it's like, oh no, that's not Popcorn. For any of you guys that's been around for a while, on May 1st of this year, 2024, you know, the witches' May Day, the Luciferian pathetic loser holiday, they had manipulated, controlled a cat that they had already dumped here a couple of months before to attack me. And it wasn't just like a little scratch, you know. And I've been caring for feral cats for decades. I have never had a feral cat attack me. Feral cats are generally fearful. They're fearful. They'll walk away. If you try to grab them, they might swipe at you or something. If you try to pick up a feral kitten, they'll hiss at you, think they're real brave and everything. But I've never, ever been attacked or assaulted by a cat, feral or otherwise. But they dropped this cat off. And that's what they do here. They drop a lot of animals off here. They dropped the cat off, black and white cat. And he was trying to kiss up at me. You know, these are the honey trap, honey pot cat. And I was feeding him. I was even able to pet him. I was even able to cut his nails and brush him. Put flea stuff on him. But he attacked me nonetheless, and it was bad, like a really bad. But under the guise of a cat attack, the local criminals thought that they would do a little weapon testing. So while the cat is attacking my legs and then lunges for my arm, the criminals cut a 1-inch triangle. I kid you not, I can't show you. You can email me, alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I'm happy to provide it to you. Maybe I'll just upload it to the members only, so at least somebody can see what it is. I have emailed it around. I sent it to a few targeted creators. They all agreed that is no cat attack. But they did it under the guise of the cat attack. And I'll tell you that I was wearing a long sleeve sweatshirt and a long sleeve shirt, none of which incurred any damage at all. Not even a little poke. Not even a little nail digging in the shirt. Nothing. So how was it possible to have a perfectly cut triangle in somebody's forearm when there is no damage to two outer pieces of clothing, one of which is quite heavy, a sweatshirt, only with the technology that they're not telling you about? So for anybody that's out there that's listening to this, who's not targeted, maybe you think you're targeted, perhaps you know somebody who is, the technology is so advanced, and they are experimenting with their technology on targeted people. Make no mistake. And I'm one of them. Oh, they do illegal covert experimentation, surgical procedures, implantations, and yes, they do that. Oh, and people have won lawsuits over those implants. It just becomes very difficult in finding a doctor that can't be coerced and bribed and threatened in order to perform the accurate diagnosis and remove the implant and or photograph it. So this morning on the porch, it was not popcorn. It was Lucifer. And yes, after the cat attack, I renamed the cat Lucifer, and I had him removed. He was here for a while, and he was stalking my other cats. He had very bizarre behavior for even a feral cat. And again, I've cared for so many of them. This cat was obviously not neutered, but there are other cats that are not neutered. Popcorn is not neutered. He doesn't act like that. So this animal was being controlled, and he was being controlled to attack me. And he's here. He's back. How is that possible? This cat was removed and driven miles and miles and miles away, like nowhere near here. Now, it's not like the cat was living here for any length of time that he would be able to find his way back here. So my theory, my hypothesis is that the cat has some kind of tracking device, some kind of a chip that's being monitored by these criminals. So they were able to locate the cat and then return the cat back here at the end of the year. It's called trauma-based mind control and satanic ritual abuse. For anybody that is not aware that it exists, it does. And I'm going to read some comments that have been made on the channel, because I think you should hear this. So now, one of the comments was from T-Totes. It was on the video, another creeper illegally entered house, knocked over basket of vitamins and jar 6:05 p.m. That was yesterday. So this is the comments. I know a lot of people, maybe you're skimming through my videos, maybe you're watching them to the end. If you watch them to the end, it helps the YouTube algorithm. But he says, he or she goes on to say, they're not breaking in. They're living there inside with you and watching every move you make and listening to everything you say and reporting back. Reporting back? Reporting back to whom? Reporting back to whom? T-Totes. Reporting back to the Fusion Center operative. Reporting back to a private contractor. Reporting back to the sheriff. Reporting back to whom? They go on to say, your homestead is a toxic environment. And I'm surprised. You sound so strong. Rays usually cause headaches, weakness, and clumsiness. Rays. What's a ray? An X-ray? A microwave ray? What kind of a ray is it? I don't know what a ray is. By the evidence you have presented, there is also a coven of witches in the area. Well, that's absolutely true. I've known that since literally weeks that I moved here. And the reason I knew is because I have been educated in bitchcraft. Because when my house in New Jersey, 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, 07726, Monmouth County. Just take Craig Road. You take Craig Road and make a turn, and then you can turn right onto Sutton Drive. I'm the 6th house in. I was the 6th house in on the left. 52 Sutton Drive. There's a cop living there now. Surprise, surprise. A cop bought my house. My house was so horrible. The worst house on the block. But yet, a cop with 3 kids wanted my house so bad that when he viewed my house, he didn't even look in the backyard. He walked in, walked upstairs, came down, walked in. He was in and out in 3 minutes. And then I had an offer. Amazing. It's because I had one of the nicest houses on the block. It was one of the best kept houses on the block. And I had the best landscaping front and back of anybody on the block. And I did it all myself. I just have to toot my horn there because, yes, I'm familiar with bitchcraft. It was being used, the front and back of my house at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, the 4 corners of the property. They put twigs and put little piles of bitchcraft around. You know, they would throw those pussy willows around. But string and rusted nails and rusted screws. I lived in the house for 30 years. I knew every part of my property. Oh, and I would find this weird piece of jewelry in the back, like this. It looked like it came out of a Cracker Jacks box. A ring, a black ring. I've got photos of all of this stuff. Yeah, and how they would burn what appeared to be like of a JJ on there, like on the bark of the tree. Yeah, along with the pussy willows. My neighbor saying, "Oh, you called me a skinny little whore." I guess that was the narrative. You know, when you're a divorced single woman and you're dating, they think that they can call you anything that they want because you're a divorced single woman living alone, and they're jealous and envious that you can continue to live there without a man. Yeah. Because I work my friggin' ass off. 4 jobs sometimes. But I'm just saying, for the record, I'm quite familiar with witchcraft. Just for the record, I am a professional astrologer, and I read tarot cards. I'm a good witch. I'm on the positive side of the spectrum, right? We put the positive energy out there. Reiki master teacher, we like to do healings. We like to help people heal. Visualize positive things. These coven of witches, the bitches, they're evil. They want bad things to happen to good people. They're envious and jealous, and some of them are paid. Some of them do it just for the hell of it. They're fun. They hide out in the woods here. You're right. And until I reported it to the sheriff's department, and then it stopped, they were calling over my property to each other, pretending to be owls. Now, I may have grown up in New York, lived in New York City, moved to Queens, then New Jersey, but I know animals. I'm not a dummy. And those were not friggin' owls. Those were women calling each other across my property with these weird hooting owl calls. And I'm not going to call out who I think one of them is, because she's a badass piece of crap. But I'm pretty sure I know who one of them is. Okay? Now he goes on to say, they're attracted by all the deep earth aqua sites, springs and creeks. Their rituals are very powerful and call for a sacrificial drowning every 33 years. Well, I just wanted to give you a heads up that yes, what they did, I don't know if it's 33 years, but probably, because the former owner lived here for 30 years, and I'm here 6. So that means that 3 years ago, they already performed their sacrificial drowning. Well, I know that last month they deliberately drowned a possum. I found the possum. I mentioned it on my channel. But if we're talking about 33 years ago, I've had numerous animals disappear. There you go. So now the individual says, I've researched the name of the hollow you live and the name of the former owners, and I confirm my suspicion of water witches in your hollow. Well, I believe you. I absolutely believe you. Because I absolutely believe that the former owner, who had a heart of gold and lived to 96, and believe it or not, he and I are a lot alike. It's very bizarre. We have some of the same interests, hobbies, little weird things. I mean, there's no coincidence, right? Although he was definitely more religious, and I didn't walk around with a top hat and a little bow tie and shiny shoes. But he lived to 96, but he was targeted here. I found out that he used to complain to the sheriff, the old sheriff, Paul Hayes. Yeah, another piece of crap. He would complain to the sheriff that people were on his property and stealing from him and stuff. That's why he ended up nailing everything to the outside of the buildings. You have no idea what my life was like removing things from these buildings, because he nailed them on so that nobody would steal them. Oh, it's horrible. I had to pay people. Anybody that wanted signs on the buildings, I said, you can have it. Just you got to remove it yourself. I'm not removing it. So I don't know what they might have done to him. But my intuition tells me that his wife, who passed away from some bizarre thing, just about 3 years after they moved here to retire, I believe it was done to her. I believe it was deliberate, okay? So he goes on to say, yes, the former owners confirmed my suspicion of water witches in your hollow. There have been drownings there, starting at the camp. Well, I didn't know that. Please provide me a URL or a link so I can do some research on this. Witches use the natural elements like leaves and tree limbs to take part in their rituals. Well, that I know for a fact. You're absolutely right. Because when I lived at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, the home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner, and it wasn't selling for 3 years. How is that possible? Besides the fact that it was blacklisted, I found out in my 3rd year there, they were planting witchcraft in the 4 corners. And when I learned about these rituals that they perform to not sell a property, I followed the instructions. I went to the 4 corners of my property, and guess what I dug up? Yeah, I dug up in the 4 corners all kinds of crumbled leaves and twigs and string and rusted nails and screws, little pieces of plastic, all 4 corners, and then the dead center of my property too, just like they're doing here. The only problem here is my property is so big. It's so big. I mean, I have so many acres. I can't possibly. And I'm not going to. I'm just not going to go to the 4 corners of my property. But I find enough of it here. Like today, for instance. I spent quite a few minutes picking up their witchcraft. And I pick it up every day. Every day, my driveway is littered with branches. It doesn't matter if there's wind or not. My driveway is littered with branches. The outer portion of my property is littered with branches, but not the way they fall naturally. They're carefully, strategically placed in pattern. But I know this already. So let's see what else he says. They like to use leaves and tree limbs to take part in their rituals. He says, I think your guinea fell victim too. Perhaps the man in your house or the men in the woods are therefore the water witches and trying to protect you from the supernatural. I am worried for you. Be extremely cautious around any kind of water. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, like I've said to you before, like there's a combination of elements in everything that you say that is an important knowledge, and there's an element of a fear factor. Well, I'm not afraid. Just so you know, I've been here 6 years. So if they have a sacrificial drowning every 33 years, so the former owner was here 30 years. 30 years. And then he was in the hospital. And they took a year for the property to sell. Okay, so that's 31 years. I'm here almost 6 years. So if you do the math, we're past the 33 mark. Unless you include the possum that they unalived. Deliberately. I don't know. Maybe we're just going to go on another 33 years and I won't be here anymore. I won't even be on the planet anymore in 33 years, right? So that's one comment. Okay, so let me get to the others. Now this is from the video, the live chat, Poopy Nurse, Theft of Cat, Rooster by Cloakman, Baby Bird, Chicken Coop Vandalism. MakaylaCheyenneRoger. You crazy lady, and I love the fake accounts you're making to type stuff on your own videos. Okay. I have targeted pets and alternative homesteading too. Those are my backup channels. And actually, targeted pets is a real channel. I just don't post there enough. I should. I don't have time. And alternative homesteading too is my backup channel, just in case. I also, just for the record, I have a Rumble account that's backup also. I have very few videos posted there. But I also have I also have a Facebook page that I named for this town. Since, you know, you think after living here for as long as I have, or like the 30 years that other people claim that they're living here, you think that one of them would come up with the idea to create a Facebook page for the town. No. They're too busy, too ignorant, too uncreative, too moronic, too entitled to do anything positive for this town. I will be doing another video on the county road. You know, the repair that Judge Gabbard did back in 2022. In 2022, we had very heavy rains. Very heavy. The county creek was it was literally roaring. It was roaring. There was water everywhere. There was so much water, it was actually going up my other driveway. As soon as the rain stops, it subsides so quickly. But what happened was, we have so much damn traffic on this small county road because I'm a targeted person and I've got morons driving back and forth all day long. This is not normal traffic. In a town of 793 people, 803 when I moved here. I might have been 804. In a town of 793 people, for cars to be driving back and forth at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It doesn't matter. Midnight, dropping poopy toilet paper on my driveway. The reason that little county bridge collapsed, with its guardrail and all that, is because of not only the heavy rains, but the large amount of traffic going back and forth, including, but not limited to, my neighbor, who when I first moved here, decided he's going to do a U-turn carrying logs on his trailer, did a U-turn at the bottom of my driveway. And yeah, me. Oh yeah, this fraidy cat me. The one that's born in the Bronx, lived in New York City, Queens, now here, New Jersey here. I go running down my driveway in the dark, in the rain, and I'm yelling at him, what are you doing? I said, you don't do a U-turn in my driveway, and he's carrying these big, heavy logs. Tore up my driveway. I think I know who it was. Yeah. I think it's that Chris Bowles. The one that stole my gate and stole the 2 auto chassis, the antique chassis. Didn't tell me he was removing them and probably junked them for the cash. The thief that lives up the block. The same one who said that the law told him that he couldn't return my vandalized gate, my original vandalized gate across the street, unless I filed a civil suit. What planet do you live on that I have to file a civil lawsuit to get back something that you stole from me that belongs to me? And you know what? I'm going to make you popular too, Chris Bowles. Go tell your wifey. The one that had the tummy tuck. What did she have done? She had the staples so that she could stop eating. Go tell your children they could be very proud of you, the kind of man you are. Yeah. We'll make you popular too. We're going to make somebody else popular tonight. But before I do, I called the FBI today. I did. I've just about had it. Now, I'm just going to tell you that I had 2 phone numbers for them. Actually 3. And I decided to call the one in Louisville, Kentucky. I think that's the main one. That's what I have in my phone. So I'm placed on hold for a while. And yes, of course I recorded it. But I can't play it back for you because I've got all my personal information in there. I'd have to edit it all out, and I don't want to do that. So I'm on hold and I'm hold. You press the buttons, the options and stuff. I go to a different option. I finally get a guy on the phone. I guess he's an FBI guy, right? It's the FBI. He does not tell me his name. I guess that's the way it works there. They're just like a call center. So I said, I have called before. He said, have you called this number? I said, I don't think so. I don't remember if it was this number, but it felt like it was a different number after how I had to maneuver through the board and the questions that were asked of me. I believe it was a different phone number. And in fact, I'm going to say it was a different phone number, and I'll tell you how I know. So I tell him about the antenna that was directed towards my house by the Hillbilly Mafia with the words DEW pointed towards my house. I told him about the unalived skinned animals stuffed in my mailbox, which is a federal crime since I had mail in there and the mail carrier could not deliver my mail. I forgot to tell him about, and I told him about the animal on the driveway also. I also told him about who I thought it was doing it. Because of the poopy diapers that were dropped at my mailbox by the same Scarlet and the poopy toilet paper that was dropped on my driveway by their family. I don't know exactly who did it, but it was them. So the FBI guys, the alleged FBI guy says, How do you know it was them? I said, I have it on video. I said, I saw their truck. And then he got quiet. So I said, and I said that it is definitely my neighbors are doing a whole lot of stuff. But there's a lot of property vandalism, real estate mobbing, that is too organized. It's too sophisticated. And then he says, well, I've got all the information. And I'm about ready to ask him a question. He says, well, anything that you've relayed to us in the past may or may not have been investigated. You don't have to report those things again. But these are new things, and there's so much more. But I was about ready to ask him a question. I don't even remember now what the question was. I think I was going to ask for his name or something. But he hung up on me. Just so typical of those guys, you know. So so I call the FBI today. So now, let's see. This is MakaylaCheyenneRoger. You're blocked. The next time you attempt to leave a message, you'll be reported to YouTube. How about that? And let's see. Then there's another one. Jessica Harrison, 7400. She writes in response to Cheryl. She says, that's a threat, and she could have you charged. Well, Jessica Harrison, first of all, you just threatened my subscriber. Yeah. And actually, what you said, what you stated, is untrue. It's patently untrue. So, Jessica Harrison, 7400, you're banned too. Try to come back again, I'll ban you again. Okay? I don't tolerate this stuff on my channel. And I just wanted to say also, I have so much stuff going on here, and I'm in a horrible, terrible mood, especially since Lucifer, the cat, is back. Because that means I'm going to have to trap him and relocate him again. Okay, so before he starts causing some trouble for anybody here, including myself. Because now that I know that they can control him, that they trapped him again and brought him back here, that is bad news. Really bad news. So I look forward to questions and comments down below. And I want to say one other thing. This is another comment that I received, because a lot of people don't listen to read all the comments. This is what they did to my guinea, the Wi-Fi jammer, no cam. This is good advice. If you live on your own and you have livestock, pay attention to what they're spraying on your feed, especially if you help other neighbors. He says, they said, we live in a wicked world now, and government wants you to depend on them. There is a bio agenda, so keep a close eye on your stock. Don't depend on your cameras, because they have remote access to Wi-Fi networks. I promise you, pay attention to your electricity bill, too, and your surroundings. Well, thank you so much, and you're absolutely right. You know why? I've accidentally received bills from my neighbors, and I don't look at my mail. I just open it up. And then I look, it's like, wow, that's a low bill. And then I realize that's not my name on the bill. And their house is like 5 times the size of mine. And they've got more people living there. How is it possible that their bills can be so much lower than mine? How is that possible? I have no running water inside my cat's building. I have electricity, but there's no running water there. The only running water I have is right here in my house. And, the water that is trapped, water catchments. And I also have 2 hydrants, which of course these criminals could be utilizing. It's very possible. But as far as the electricity, we found out that they piggyback on our electricity. And while we're asleep, they might be using outlets. Exterior outlets. They could be using exterior outlets. I don't know. Anything is possible. So thank you so much for that very sound advice. I appreciate it. So I just want to say one more thing. We got another perp, in the neighborhood. I call her Jezebel. We're going to just call her Jezebel with the blue lights on. Jezebel. Yeah, she is the one who, towards the end of the alleged friendship, I'll say, she had already blocked me on her TikTok account. She had made the excuses, oh, I don't have time for TikTok anymore. But this is how ignorant people are. I don't have to sign on to TikTok with my account to be able to see that her account is still there. Anybody could sign on to TikTok. You can sign on anywhere. I could sign on through another email address. So anyway, so that was another lie. The first lie, well, there were so many lies, but many, many lies. But I had, she would continuously walk back and forth, pretending to be going for a walk or whatever. But she'd always stop by or wave or make a comment or whatever. This one time I met her on the county road, and she said, well, why do you call me a perp? I said, well, because you're involved in harassing me. Makes no response back. So she gets all pissy and whatever. I said, listen, I said, are you aware what targeting means? What a targeted person is? I said, it's a horrible thing to happen to an innocent person. And it just gives people the right to just do whatever they feel like doing with no consequences. And she says, oh, you mean that I could do anything I want to you and not get caught? I kid you not. Yeah, that's Jezebel with the blue lights on. Yeah, the house on the corner there. Jezzy with the blue lights on. Yeah. So anyway, we'll have more to say on that because I've got so many good stories about that one. Oh my goodness. Everybody thinks they're so smart around here. And yes, my mother did tell me to play dumb sometimes. You just go along to get along, right? You play dumb. I'm not playing dumb anymore, and I'm not going to shut up. I did receive a phone call today from a targeted woman that I've known for a long time. She said, do you think that if maybe you stop posting videos or, whatever, you think that they would let up on you a little bit? And I said, no, flat out. I didn't even have to give it a second thought. Because when I lived in New Jersey, I had horrible stuff going on for years before, in 2017, I realized what was happening. But my targeting started back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. In 2017, I realized that it was called gang stalking, organized harassment, that I was in a program. It took all of those years. So just remember, all of those years, I don't watch the news, I don't watch TV. I was filing police reports and stuff. I was going to school full-time, doing schoolwork, working my ass off, have a daughter in university, driving back and forth, just busy, busy, busy. So all this was going on in the background, and I didn't have a YouTube channel then. I didn't have a Twitter. I didn't have any of those things. I wasn't reporting anything that was happening on my property publicly to anybody. So to anybody out there, no, I'm not going to stop posting online. I'm not. Because for all those years before, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't even have a YouTube channel. And in fact, even when I moved here, I didn't start my YouTube channel for a couple of years. So no, I'm not going to stop posting. But what I am not going to do is on New Year's Eve, I am not going to have a live. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I've got things to do here. I have got so many things that are left undone that I need to get done. So I'm going to cut this now because it's running overtime. But I will have a couple of interviews coming up. So no, I'm going to expose them all. So anyway, as summary, I banned 2 perps from the channel. A copter flew over my property at 6:40 p.m. today. Lucifer the cat is back. I will keep you posted on that creepo cat, because I've got to get rid of the cat. So, and yes, I called the FBI. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. Lastly, when I hung up with the FBI, and I made sure that I had my recording, etc., I looked at the phone number that I called. And, you know, on caller ID, you know what it came up as? FBI Infraguard. I don't have that name in my phone. But after I hung up the phone with the FBI guy, the alleged FBI guy, the phone number that I called came up on my caller ID as FBI Infraguard. Go figure. They're all in on it.